Hey, I'm Kayla. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to bring you along. I am in desperate need of a cozy winter weekend. I'm going to bring you along for some winter crafts. I'm going to do some reading and give you an update on what I've been up to reading wise. I'll bring you along for some home stuff. So yeah, let's see what other fun, cozy shenanigans we can get into.
4 p.m., followed by the holiday parade at 7:30. Details at kissimmee.gov/Festival of Lights.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing.
For my reading update, I did really well actually balancing everything I had to do and read this week. I read quite a bit of my Advent book, the first book that I picked in my holiday Advent. So if you haven't seen that video, go watch it now because I am near the end of that and ready for another pick. So I read a good bit of that, almost 100 pages on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday I continued on with Logan Cade. That's the book in the Fallen Crest High series that I'm trying to squeak a whole reread in before the ninth and final book of the series comes out in actually, oh my goodness, 2 days now. I'm definitely not going to finish the rest of the series before then. I am really close, but back to what I was saying about Logan Cade. I finished that on Thursday, and then I did start Lightlark. Oh, I want to talk about Lightlark. I did also start Fallen Crest Home, which is the 6th book in the series. I started that on Friday. I'm about 38% in right now. It's Sunday. Like I mentioned, I have 2 days before the 9th book comes out. So maybe, honestly, I'm close. They're like usually 300 pages a piece. We'll see. We'll see. But Lightlark. I started Lightlark on Thursday and I read like a good chunk of it, at least 150 pages of it. When I started it out, I thought it was just a little repetitive. I did have to remind myself that this is a YA fantasy and it's like considered just a YA book in general. I would classify it as a romantasy. I don't know what others say about that, but I absolutely thought it was a romantasy read. I felt the romance, and I knew going in that there is a love triangle concept, like there is a love triangle going on, and I'm a person that usually does not fall into the trap, meaning I don't fall for both MMCs. But even knowing that there was a love triangle, I knew their names going in, and nope. Alex asked her. She did. She caught me right up in the trap. Like, I was so convinced that I loved one of our male main characters. Like, and I mean, I still do. And then the last 30 pages hit. And like everything I thought I knew just, I won't say that because there is one big storyline that I will say I predicted and I caught it pretty early on, and I think that's just because I am a paranoid reader. Yes, that's absolutely it. I'm a paranoid reader. So I was a little nervous about one of these characters. That did end up being correct. So yeah, I was very weary of one of Isla's allies, and that was for good reason. I thought this book was so good. I thought it set everything up really well. I didn't know, knowing the concept going in, which is that they have 100 days on this island to break the curse for all of their kingdoms. I didn't know how the story was going to go, if it was going to be similar to the Hunger Games, like the first book is the games, like the first games. But I liked how it was paced. I'm very interested to see where it picks up in the next one. I have the next book, but it is actually wrapped in my Christmas Advent, so I don't know when I'm going to get it. I remember what color wrapping paper it's in because I have red and green, but I don't actually remember which one is which, so I don't even think I could cheat if I don't think I could cheat if I wanted to at this point. I don't actually think I remember which. So, you'll have to stick around and see what happens with my next Advent update video. I am less than 100 pages from finishing my first Advent book, so I decided that I was going to pick today no matter what. I was going to open a new Advent book because I'm most likely going to finish this one I'm reading. I'm at a really critical stage of it. I'm really, really enjoying it as well. I bought it for a reason. I bought it because I heard really positive things about it. It's been hanging around my shelf for way too long, and this little burst of motivation to read it is just like, oh my goodness, why did I let this one sit for as long as I did? Now, I will say, I have a feeling that this is going to be a more somber ending. There's definitely some harder hitting storylines going on. I also liked the way that one of the storylines wasn't revealed until you were like deeper and invested into the characters, and it really just left a much bigger impact because of it. So I will finish that and I will pick myself a new one, and maybe I end up with Nightbane, or I end up with another fabulous book that I have to read on my shelf, and I'll get to it when I get to it. I don't think I've rated Lightlark anywhere yet. I finished it yesterday. I wanted to grab my camera and film my reaction when I was finishing it, but I ended up in a family cuddle puddle and I could not disturb all of the love that was going on beside me, so I just finished it up. But I was also like then like trying not to physically react because whoa, wowza. I did an okay job. I did an okay job. And then I did detail everything that happened to my partner and how I just like got mind blown. And then hours later, I was like, I'm still thinking about this book. So that's how you know it was a really, really good one. But just like when I read Fourth Wing, there was something about it that I didn't want to immediate 5-star. I don't know if it's because it's just not my typical genre. Like fantasy is newer to me. It's not as like what I immediately 5-star books for, but maybe reading the second one will encourage me to want to make it a 5-star. That's kind of what happened with that really is what happened with Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. I think I was saying that Fourth Wing was a 4.5-star, and then we got all of the depth in the extra layers of Iron Flame. And I was like, wow, wow, that just elevated everything. So there are also thinking back to Lightlark, there were storylines, very, very important storylines that didn't come to a head until those last 30 pages. So we'll have to see some of that played out in the second novel. That might help elevate Lightlark to be a 5-star read for me. Right now, it's like sitting at a 4.5 star, 4.75 star read in my mind. I don't know why, but that is where I initially am. I do want to see where the second book has me thinking. I will say though, I haven't actually marked anything. There's not on Fable, not on Goodreads. My Kindle has been like, my Kindle is sunk to my Goodreads account. So every time I finish a book, it just marks off that I finished it, except with rereads. I do have to manually input my rereads, but that's been really nice. The only problem is that when Goodreads marks it off automatically for me, I don't go in and star rate it right then, and then I have time to really think about it. But I guess that's almost better because I'm thinking about how I feel about these books rather than just being in the haze of finishing it, being like, yep, that's it, that's it. 5-star books for me are not too rare. I've probably had about, I'm probably closer to 15 5-star books for the year. I'm at 97 books read. So if you think about that, I will end up with over 100 books read, less than 15% of them being 5-star books. That's not crazy. I don't think that's too many. If any, I could probably 5-star a little less, but also I read good books, or I think the books that I read are aligned with what I'm looking for. So I guess that's been good. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I appreciate you coming along for some different style things. I took you along for some home life, gave you a nice reading update, and of course probably went on a pretty nice book rant. That's typical for me. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a great day.